Professor Dr. Kriengsak Chareonwongsak graduated with first-class honours and obtained a PhD in economics at Monash University, Australia. He obtained a Master of Public Administration from Harvard University, USA, Master degree from Judge Business School, Cambridge University in United Kingdom, as well as D.Phil, Doctor of Philosophy and Management, and postdoctoral studies in Public Policy and Management at the University of Oxford in UK. He also graduated from the National Defence College of Thailand. He served in a number of significant positions in Thailand and overseas, including an advisor to the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, the President of the National Assembly of Thailand, and many key ministers in various governments. He was a member of the Parliament and elected to be the Vice Chairman of the Standing Committee on Economic Development. He was elected and served as the Chairman of Education, Religion, Arts and Culture Commission, and Vice Chairman of Economic, Commerce and Industry Commission of the National Economic and Social Advisory Council of Thailand. He was an eminent member of the National Education Council of Thailand and a committee of the National Committee for Education, Science and Culture for UNESCO. He was elected to be member of the Board of Directors of the Harvard Kennedy School Alumni Association, Chairman of the Social Science Association of Thailand, and President of the Thai Australian Association under the royal patronage of His Royal Highness Crown Prince Maha Vajiralongkorn. In business, he is currently a chairman of the Risk Management Committee of Krung Thai AXA Life Insurance Public Company Limited, Thailand. He was also the chairman of ASTI Holdings, a Singapore's publicly listed company. He has written over 6,000 articles, commentaries, and academic papers to address critical development issues of Thailand and the world. He is the author of more than 200 books and has presented over 500 academic papers at international conferences. He has given over 2,200 lectures in hundreds of universities and conferences in 70 countries. A selection of the current positions of Professor Dr. Kriengsak, a Senior Fellow at Harvard University and a Fellow at University of Oxford, Senior Fellow South Asia Foresight Network, SAFN's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI Center in Washington, D.C., Professor of Management and Economics at University Utara, Malaysia, and the Academic Dean of the Thailand Centre of the University of London School of Economics and Political Science, EMFSS program. Professor Dr. Kriengsak is President of the Institute of Future Studies for Development, Chairman of Advisors to the Senator Dr. Amornsak Kitananan, Honorary Advisor to the Senate Committee on Education, Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation, Honorary Advisor to the Senate Committee on Religion, Morality, Ethics, Arts and Culture, and Chairman of the Nation Building International Institute.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Professor Dr. Kriengsak Chareonwongsak, Chairman of Nation Building International Institute.
Excellency Pukin Polakun, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure once again to send forth a message in this key conference dealing with peace upon morality in the aging world. This is not a conference as usual, which I said from the beginning each day. It's a conference with particular focus, wanting to send key ideas in pertinent time in our days and age. The first day, I talk about nation building, which is so essential in the aging world. My second day, I talk about wellness in the aging world. And the last 2 days, there's key ideas that are clearly sent out through 70 countries around the world watching us live and all the hundreds of people in this premise. Today, I have a key message I would like to send forth in the issue of peace upon morality in the aging world. I like this song so much from young age, John Lennon. When he talked about imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say, I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us and the world will be as one. This is a dream, yes, but a dream that need to find reality. Throughout the page of history, the last 6,000 years of written history, there has never been a single moment around the world where there is real peace. War is everywhere. Conflicts are the norm of the day, even this morning and yesterday. Peace has always been a central concern, a central desire of all mankind, but we never achieve it. So why such a conference on peace upon morality is so important? We tackle this very main issue that mankind look for. Clear solution that articulated and implementable. The world around us is getting more complex, in a flux, and is changing constantly. Transformation bound to happen with myriad factors surrounding us, especially demographic factors. And the most overlooking question of the day is that we experience for the first time 6,000 years of mankind where the world is so gray or silver. It's an aging world for the first time. And therefore, this issue had to be addressed, seeing the impact of aging upon peace. But to say so, we have to understand the four types of peace which I have crafted philosophically in my mind. Now, from the beginning of your day when you were born to the last day of your life, all of us, whether knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally, has to wrestle with four questions of life order. One, human order. Who are we as a human being? Why we exist here on earth? What are we doing here? Why we journey through life for about 20,000 to 30,000 days and we exit this world. Who are we? What are we doing here? Why we exist? What shall we do with our life? As all of us have to wrestle with the first question. I call it human order. The second life order that I have crafted in my mind to answer myself and articulated in my speeches and my writing throughout my lifetime is what I call the community order. We grew up recognizing that naturally, if no one take care of us like our mother, we would not continue to live. Life order, therefore, is intrinsically embedded in us, the community order. We have to work, to have to live. We have to do with other people, not just ourselves. Isolation and alienation is not the way to live synchronizingly with the reality of life. We have other people on planet Earth that we need to think about how do we live with them in community order, whether it's a small community in family or in an area or village we live, in an organization where we work, in the nation that we join, and in the global world which we belong. The community order is something we have to decide, how do we live our life? The third life order in my mind is nature order, where we look at the entire world, which is material world, the plant world, and the animal world. We have to interact with them. We have to decide whether we want to damage the world with climate change, thinking of them as exploitation by us only, or preservation underutilization. We need to think of how do we make sure that the plant and the animals continue and not extinct due to our greediness, lack of morality in our dealing with nature. We have to think about what to do with the fourth issue, which I call the Dharma order. Dharma means you seize upon what is right and separate it clearly from what is wrong. What is right, what is wrong. Morality and ethics, therefore, is innate in our human nature. No one can live a single day without thinking what is right and wrong. Whether our judgment is right or not right, we still have to think of such question called the Dharma order. So life order has 4 issues. Therefore, dealing with all these issues, either we have war with nature, war within ourselves, war with the other people, or war with truth, which is Dharma. We have to decide whether we want peace or we want war. And impact of the aging world, which is pressing on us, make us also have to ponder this issue of peace in its 4 orders. Therefore, my total peace model, which will become an index this afternoon, we announce the ranking of the world of real total peace of these 4 orders are very clear. We need to look at. If we look at peace, we have to look at the inner peace within each one of us, in the general populace. Do people create war inside their own heart? We have to look at community peace, nature peace, and Dharma peace. How do the issue of aging population impacted these 4 kind of peace? The first one, nature peace. In the aging world, when a lot of old people live, it seems to me that the world are more conscious of environmental behavior. We seem to be far more today concerned about the preservation of nature. The consciousness is particularly pertinent in the wrestling in our mind. How do we deal with a world which we seem to destroy day by day? Now evidence clear in the melting of the polar world, where ice are melting. Flood will be coming. Climate is changing. Animals are being pushed around and invade their territories because we're encroaching on their areas more and more. And the effects are very different in what I call the rich world and the poor world. It seems to me the richer world, because they've gone through poverty, the rise in their living standard, they are more well off, they have more luxury to think about making peace with nature. They seem to be more concerned on average about carbon emission, about green behavior. Of course, there's some exception when you have very powerful leader of a big country in the world who don't care. But that is not the norm. The norm of the rich world is far more greening. The European, for instance, the Japanese, and all the rich world who have developed, they seem to be more concerned about making peace with nature. Of course, the developing world are poor, and economics always reign large in their mind more than environmental issues. Therefore, the issue of fossil fuel, where we create havoc in the atmosphere, are found mostly with countries that need to forsake environmental peace for the sake of economic gain. Well, that's what we found, and the net gain in the whole world, that we are making more war with nature. We have to create carbon credit market to make sure that the total emission of carbon is not too much, and having trading by compensating those who did not damage the environment with some financial compensation from the rich world. The effort of COP 28, 29, 30, and to COP infinity in the future is to try to contain the environmental impact by using economic measures of trading carbon, for example, or the cross-border adjustment mechanism, CBAM, of the European champion is an effort to try to force production and movement of goods across border to be careful with nature. These are what we found, that we are fighting war with peace, in nature peace. Nature is fighting back. It seems that we're still engaging in this war today. Aging is not guaranteeing for a better outcomes. You can see weather pattern, climate is different everywhere. Air pollution is increasing. Plastic is being used unwittingly and is causing problems not only on land but in the ocean. Forests are losing out. Biodiversities are disappearing. We have problem with nature peace. We need structural and systematic way to work over this issue. Behavioral psychological awareness are inculcated in the young generation, but the old generations are lagging behind. Technological resource limitation come with a cost. Infrastructure are not conducive for nature peace. Scaling and complexity, we have to understand the interlink and the strain on the world, which is growing more than 8 billion people today. We seem to be selective and pedantic in awareness, and we always seem to neglect something in the equation. Aging can turn positive in force if we learn how to deal with the issue of friendliness, eco-friendly, with nature peace, which I will outline in a minute. The second issue is moving to the inner peace. The world is older, we live longer, we have more older people living today, but sadly, mental disorders are everywhere. Look at the sort of pills that we pop in our mouths to calm our nerve. This is mental disorder, and we are living in isolation, like I mentioned yesterday. We are much more alone in this planet with a huge number of people. We feel loneliness. Worse, we feel abused. And when we are ill, there's no one around to show care and compassion. We have problem internally. This is why I have noticed, I have created a new course teaching across the first time soon in the US. We have the course on meditation and consciousness for nation building. Teaching in our largest temple in Los Angeles this month. Why are the Western people very interested in inner peace? They're looking for meditational wellness as a therapeutic as well as a powerful contributor to the inner peace which they cannot find outside. Mindfulness is one of the key issues that people seem to reckon, and the Buddhist tradition has been very helpful. The evidence are clear. Older adults usually are calmer through experiences. They regulate their emotion better than the young people, yes. But with age, we seem to be calmer, yes. Outwardly, we can control ourselves better. But mindfulness in the inner being can also be a mood stabilizer. And we will be able to accept change, reflect upon what we have learned in life, revealed it with wisdom. Therefore, inner peace depends on how we deal with ourselves when the world is growing older. Inner peace is not universal. Many are facing psychological problems. We will naturally lose our loved ones. Soon and very soon, we'll be isolated. We have shrinking friendship network. We don't have enough friends to talk to eventually. Illness seems to come with it. Disability, sometimes bedridden. Less social engagement. Declining religious involvement due to physical inability. Losing up community ties, and we seem to be marginalized when we are older. We lose the significance when we are in our position, when we're in our working time. People seem to come around that small. But the day you retire, you become a nobody. And people do not engage you as much as they used to. Lack of support. If people don't help you, assist you in your movement, transport barriers are in many cities of the world who are not age-friendly. If you have financial limit because you're poor, that will be worse. These are some of the inner issues. Social participation, support system that can help improve mental health and promote inner peace sometimes are not there. Let me walk you through Dharma peace, which I coined this new term. Peace with Dharma in your heart. Understanding how to continue with knowing what is the real spirituality. Reflecting on what is right and wrong in every encounters as we grow older. We still have to live by morality and ethics. Spirituality serves as a mechanism to help us introspectively shifting from meaningless materialism to more meaningful spirituality. When we grow older, we think through life journey and we learn to accept things, we learn to forgive, we learn to have more of a broader cosmic outlook. Community of ideological belief and faith offer emotional security as we calm down our inner sanctum with clarity of what is truth. But this kind of relationship varies by culture. Some culture like East Asia, Southeast Asia, for example, Thailand and Japan, we are far more willing to be syncretic, ritualistic, whereas in the West African and the West Asia tends to be more doctrinal, identity-based. Government roles are also important, whether we promote religious and spiritual understanding, or do we go for secular neutrality so that we be able to keep peace among different faiths. And accessing is an issue. Some face the lack and some doubt the engagement opportunities. I want to walk you through intrastate peace. Look at some of the lack of peace inside our own border and of each nation. Today we have a huge population that are growing old, yet we have a bulging youth population. When you have more youth in a country, the energy of the country is different from we have a lot of older people. Therefore, when the youth are looking forward, if their needs are unmet, conflict can happen. The evidence are clear. Most conflicts in the year 1971 to 2008 occur in nations with youth as a huge number. Global data, 60% correlation between youth share and political instability. In Africa, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Liberia, and Arab Spring rooted there because a lot of young people are unhappy. In the Middle East, high youth unemployment have linked to unrest. Therefore, demographic does say something about intra-peace within nation. Contextual factors are also important in each country. Institutional, economical. If a system is strong enough, the youth may be able to be pacified. Education opportunity also contribute to job creation or frustration and conflicts. Cultural factors like Melanesia, when you do it properly, it could stabilize the community. Age-driven conflict are seen clearly in competition over resources. Therefore, intergenerational tension. Worse still, if ageism is in their mind, it could intensify conflicts. When one in two people hold ageist views, Eurobarometer in 2023 say 52% say age equal to recruitment disadvantage. That means when you go older, people don't want you. Try to go and get a job when you're in 50s. When you're unemployed at 50s, most companies will say we prefer younger people. Stereotyping, youth, they are looked upon as reckless, or elders as outdated, dinosaur in their mentality. Group identity between us and them versus them based on age have created tension in some countries. Threat perception, jobs, culture, values perceived as under attack. Reciprocal negativity cause distrust. The trust factor disappear. In international arena, demographic shift can cause younger nations more prone to war. Older nations, less military mobilization, lower aggressions. What are we doing with geriatric peace hypothesis? Aging societies are far more peace-focused, concerned with welfare over war is evidence in today's Japan and today's Germany. You can see that they're much more restrained than during World War I and World War II because they're aging. Aging with observation and limitation, the global conflict is rising. Today, since World War II, we have 59 ongoing state conflicts. It's a lot of people, a lot of countries in conflicts. 152,000 war deaths just in 2024 alone. And 100 countries saw peace decline in past decade. Aging nation may act preemptively, like we have seen, preemptive war. Act while we can. You see in the war in Europe, Russia and Ukraine, in the Middle East, in particular Israel and Iran, just in recent days. Peace is not just aging alone, but require good governance in dealing with the aging population, equity and stability. How do we build peace in this aging world, given the type of peace that we are not finding easily in this aging world that we are living in? How do we promote peace across generation? We have to deal with people, system, and context, which I would like to skip in explaining to you. But let me propose a very clear idea in my mind. Out from this conference, I create a new term called Aeneas contract. From the story of antiquity, of Aeneas story. I have the privilege of being educated overseas since 16 years old. So I have to study classic, read a lot of things from the Greek mythology all the way to the Latin classic. You know the story of Trojan horse and Troy. After Troy's fall, Aeneas was tasked with founding a new city. Of course, in the mythology, he has to carry his father on his back and hold his son by the hands. Escape across the sea through great hardship with great difficulties, face much trials along the way. His descendants found the city of Rome. That's the story. Why do I tell you this story of antiquity? Of course, it's mythology, but it symbolizes something which I would like to create a new concept of intergenerational support and linkage. Aeneas is looking after the generation that went before his dad and the generation that come after his son. It's a bridging, connecting of the three generations. If you may allow me the privilege of entertaining you with my ideas, that the three generations, the young, the middle age, and the old, the senior people, we have great capacity in different kinds. When you're too young, when you're young, you don't have money. You have time and you have energy. When you're in the middle age, you still have energy, you have some money, but you don't have much time. But when you're older, you have a lot of time, a lot of money, but no energy. My concept is very clear, articulated at the Nation Building International Institute for these few decades and elsewhere. The three generations need to work together. Then you cover all the weakness of each generation by cross-generational working together and linking together energy, time, and finance, and money, and treasure. So treasure, time, energy. If you work together, there's no lack. And what better than using Aeneas? I think he'll be shocked that I use him for my theory. Because the mythology has nothing to do with what I'm saying, but look at the picture that he's carrying his dad and holding his son. It symbolizes a life journey where you have these three generations working together, cementing together, gluing together the generation. If we can do that in this aging world, we will succeed in peace. If we don't, we have war, in intergenerational war. How do we create this moral and spiritual foundation and commitment for mutual responsibility among generations? This come to my mind, this concept I call Aeneas contract. Let me entertain you with my neo-social contract theory of intergenerationality. You know, I have deep respect for people that have created conceptual framework like social contract. In particular, three people that loom large in my mind: Thomas Hobbes, Jacques Rousseau, John Locke. A number of these people have created a concept social contract in one particular slant. I have created a new concept called neo-social contract before, which is very different. In the modern day, 21st century, one fine day, I may articulate that more, why we need a neo-social contract, not just an old social contract in the last few centuries. But today is a version of neo-social contract called intergenerational Aeneas contract. What am I trying to say in this world? The old social contract talk about citizen and states. AENS contract talk about the old generation and the younger generation working together. The core argument and agreement in social contract is willing to surrender some freedoms for the state protection and social order, where AENS contract is willing to give up some individual freedom to listen to, connect with, and carry forward responsibilities between past and future generations. Social contract is safety, rights, and civil order. AENS contract is meaningful life, assurance of care, and support of later years. In social contract, the collective goal is social order and political stability. In AENS contract, is intergenerational harmony, social sustainability, and long-term peace in communities and in the world. In my concept that I'm sending forth today, AENS contract isn't just wordplay. It has here academic core, not just a metaphoric solution, but an expansion of social contract into a new kind, into temporal, in fact, intertemporal and intergenerational dimension. The ethics of responsibilities, humans must not act solely for their own present interests, but for bear responsibility of others, including future generation. We need justice between generations. Intergenerational justice is a fundamental condition of a just society. Good people are shaped by good communities and not merely by individual rights and freedom, which we hear so much today. Everything is a right, but no enough responsibility. Intergenerational relationships are the foundation of enduring moral values, respect for elders, gratitude, age-based relational harmony, and the moral foundation for a peaceful society with many generations. What am I critiquing and sending out innovative new ideas today? Is a philosophical foundation and conceptual framework for a world which will have generational war. Let me mention this clearly. This is contract of AENS contract that we coined this term is not just a good idea. It's enforceable. Why is it so? Because no one can force different generations to cooperate. You can't use force. Even legal enforcement would not be effective alone. AENS contract proposed embedding in within the policy system and structure of organization and nations that we need age coexistence infrastructure. That means in a broad and large state and national infrastructure, we need to design shared space where every generation can use cross-generational and allow interaction. It's also intergenerational policy impact assessment. I want to propose GIA, not just EIA. Environmental impact assessment has been standard. Social impact assessment has been very clear use in any public infrastructure project. May I suggest GIA? Generational impact assessment to assess whether what you do is fair for the future generation as well. Look at governments who produce large public debts, who did not think of the future youth, who will bear the responsibility around the world in every nation. Policy which is wrong in not having GIA. Centenarian peace builders, elders should be used and utilized and valued with dignity as mediators, mentors, stabilizers in wisdom society. We need a lot of elderly people who care. We need to create new kind of literacy, not just numeracy or the usual literacy, but the longevity literacy, so that we teach the children from young age the understanding of intergenerational living together with empathy. Virtue credit system, so that we install in the hearts of each generation the concept of virtue. Employment beyond retirement. Yesterday and the day before, I create a new concept, which I hope you can help me campaign around the world. If you're listening to me around the world in 70 countries, I create a concept called no mandated retirement age. That means you don't force people to retire. In the civil servants spheres, in the business sphere, if they're still productive and capable, why force people to retire artificially? If we do that, I said, let's do that and say, no mandated retirement age. If we can do that one day in the year as a symbol around the world for this campaign, would be a really beautiful world where the old people will live with dignity. They are not forced into retirement when they are still productive and capable. We need to create tax incentive for employers to make use of the capable older people. Global institutions' role need to come in. UN should have an envoy for intergenerational responsibility. We need to do global ranking index on this intergenerational piece. IMF and World Bank. Next year, I understand IMF is coming to Thailand in October. Shall we have ideas forward of incentives for nations with fair generational policies? The global impact of ANIA's contract is clear. We want domestic generational harmony that lead to global peace. We want lessen cross-age cooperation, transfer to diplomacy. We want to promote empathy, trust, and long-term thinking. We want peace that becomes national identity and export this into internationality. No tariffs for peace export. In conclusion, let me draw your attention that peace must be passed on, not just inherited. My concept of ANIA's contract is our intergenerational duty. As leaders, we design policy that honor all ages. As institution, we build systems that reflect care, reciprocity, and continuity. As individuals sitting here across the globe, online and on site, listen to someone older than you. Let me tell you, that's what I have been doing all my life. When I was young, I want to mix and be close to older people than me because I learned from their wisdom. I have the benefit of graduating fast. I got my PhD at 25 years old. So most of my friends who start working with me are more than 10 years older than me, usually. So I have the benefit of gleaning from their age because wisdom comes with age. When I'm older, I would like to help younger people. So don't just mix around with the peers of the same age. It's not good for you. You also need to mix with people older than you. But young people, you don't learn everything within a short space of young life. You need to listen and glean wisdom from the older people. It's the right thing to do. Listen to older people. They may talk nonsense sometimes, but on average, they're usually right. Because wisdom that they have gone through with hardship taught them many lessons we can learn without going through the pain ourselves. If you're older people, mentor someone younger. Don't just fade away in history in the future without thinking of the new generation. If you're in government, create policy that build bridges, not walls, between generations. I purposely would like to mentor younger people in everything I do so that I pass on the legacy to the new generation. You can do likewise. And let's speak up for the young generation of the future. Some of them we have never seen yet. I come from the baby boomers generation. The generation before me already died away mostly, the classic generation I call. Below me are the generation X, Y, and Z. Z is a British pronunciation, your American pronunciation is Z. And then there's an alpha generation. So many generations who I think about and care about. If we are older, let's think of them and speak for them on their behalf when they still cannot speak yet. And think of their future. Live today for the future generation. And the world will be in peace. Imagine the world in peace and intergenerational peace as well. Thank you very much.